Hi everyone, and thank you for joining again. In this video I will show you how you can make this beautiful bag here. So this is the handle, a little close-up of everything. This is the back side, the bottom. And as usual, I will link everything you need in the video description. So before we start, let me quickly give you the measures of the bag. And in the end, I will show you the leftover of the yarn. So first I take the measure of the handle only, and then I take the measure from the start of the handle where it is fixed at the bottom. So let's start. To start the bag, I made 27 chain stitches here. You can of course easily adjust the size of the bag by making more or less chain stitches. Then we start in the second chain from the hook and go back all the way with single crochet. In the end, this is how it should look like. And now we will make 3 single crochet in this very last chain stitch here. Afterwards, you go on in the foundation chain again and make single crochet there as well. So in this way, we created this nice little round edge here. And again, you just go on with single crochet until you reach the other side. Now on this side, we use this little loop here and make 3 single crochet here as well. Afterwards, you reach the other side of this crochet piece again and just go on with single crochet. So, and this is how it should look like now. And again, you go on with single crochet. So, this is how our bag looks like now. And now we will double all these 3 stitches that we made in the last row. This means we make 2 single crochet in each of them. So when you finish doubling the single crochets, you go on with normal single crochet in the following stitches. And this is how our edge looks like now. And again, you go on with single crochet now, all this way. Then you double all the stitches in the edge again, then make single crochet again, and on the other side, double all the stitches again. And this is how you just go on for the whole bottom. And this is our middle part. When you like to finish the bottom, when it's big enough, you have to be aware that you have the similar number of rows on both sides of this middle part. Which means I have 4 rows on both sides now. And if I would go on here where I am now, I would start row number 5. So this is the area where we have to end to not go on with another row. I made a separate tutorial on crochet bottoms that I will link in the video description as well, if you would like to have a more detailed explanation for this part. So, as I said, if I would go on here, currently doubling the last stitches of the row, of the round edge, and if I would go on here now, this would start row number 5. So instead of going on there in the normal way, I will now make 1 round single crochet back loop only. So only poke in the back loop of the single crochets and then make my single crochets of the current row. Furthermore, in this row we won't double the stitches in the edges anymore, but you go on 1 stitch for 1 stitch. So no doubling anymore, only single crochet for the whole round. When you finish the row, you will notice that the stitches are bending to the top, and this is what we wanted to achieve with this row. If you like, you can sew a little bit of plastic canvas to the inside to make the bottom stiffer. And if you have a look at the lower side, you will have this nice little edge here, the front loops of the single crochets that we didn't use. Now, after this row, we will switch to our pattern. And that means we yarn over and pull through all loops right away. Yarn over, poke in, again only in the back loop, yarn over, pull through, and pull through all the loops on your hook. And again, yarn over, poke in, yarn over, pull through all the loops on your hook. Lost the thread, sorry. Poke in, yarn over, pull through all the loops on your hook. And this is the pattern that we will use on the sides. So only poke in the back loop. You don't double the stitches on the edges anymore. We only did that for the bottom, not for the sides anymore. And now you just go on with the stitch until the bag reaches the height that you like. So this is how my bag looks like now. This is the bottom. And in total I made 24 rounds here. And again, be aware where you started your pattern, because if you go on here with the next row or next round, you would start round 25. And instead of doing that, we will end the row here, like this. We poke in again in the back loop only and make one normal slip stitch. So we didn't yarn over first. Then we pull through the thread. I already cut it. Then we poke in the next stitch, back loop only, pull the thread below this loop, then poke in like this and bring it back to the last stitch of the row that we made. In this way, the end here will look like a stitch as well and blend in your crochet piece very well. This will also be the side where I sew on the top of the bag, so you won't see it anymore at all. Now this is the top of the bag. This is how it looks like. This is the top side, and we will sew it on later like this. So I will quickly show you the pattern on a small piece here. I had to the first try for the top, so I didn't have a video of the red part that I made, but I think you will see this light yarn here better anyway. So you start with chain stitches again. If you adjust the size of your bag, you just make enough chain stitches to cover the top of your bag here. So you need a little piece on the back side to sew it on, and then you need a nice little shape for your top, and you just chain in a number you like until you get a nice result. For my bag I made 26 chains, so that I had 25 single crochet. When you have the right number of chain stitches, you start in the second chain from the hook and go back with single crochet. So as I said, I started with 26 chains for the top of my bag. Then you start in the second chain from the hook and go back with single crochet. This is how it looks like. Then you chain one, turn around, and row number 2 is single crochet as well. So this is the last stitch, and this time for the pattern row we chain 2 for turnaround. These 2 chains will be seen as first half double crochet of the row. So the pattern now is yarn over, poke in. So I skipped this first one because we have the half double crochet, pull through, yarn over, and pull through 1 hole below. So you go 1 hole down, pull through there as well. Now you have 5 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all of them. This is the stitch. We go on, yarn over, pull through the current hole, yarn over, pull through the hole below, there, pull it up, yarn over, pull through all the 5 loops on your hook, and your stitch is done. And again, yarn over, poke in the current stitch, yarn over, poke in the stitch below, pull through, bring it up, yarn over, pull through all the 5 loops. This is your pattern. The last stitch of the row will again be a half double crochet, because we started with the 2 chains that are seen as half double crochet, and so we have to end the row in the same way with a half double crochet. This is your pattern row. This is the one side, this is the other side, this is the top side. Then this is how it looks. Then you chain 1, and now you make 3 rows single crochet. At the end of each row you chain 1 for the turn. So 3 rows single crochet. So we are getting to the end of the row, and when I first made this pattern I oversaw to make my last stitch in this chain 2 area here. So you have to be aware that this is our first half double crochet, so that there of course has to be a stitch as well. And I only reached this one loop of the chain in my top, which is totally fine, and then make your single crochet there. This is how it looks. Because otherwise, if you don't make sure, you will lose your stitch count. And then you chain 1 and go on with single crochet. In total you make 3 rows of single crochet. So the rows are finished, which means we start our pattern row again. Therefore we chain 2, turn around, the 2 chains will be seen as first half double crochet of the row again, and then we make our pattern. Yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through, 1 hole below, 1 hole below, bring it to the top, yarn over, pull through all 5 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through, 1 hole below, bring it to the top, yarn over, pull through all 5 loops on your hook. Poke in 1 hole below, and this is your pattern. Afterwards, when you finish the row, you chain 1 again, and then go 3 rows single crochet again. So this is my top. I have to admit that this is not the most perfect rectangle I ever made. But I thought it was quite difficult to get a nice shape with this pattern. But anyway, it is possible to get a quite nice shape, and I fixed the not so nice side on the back of the bag so that it's not so visible. So if you have a slightly off rectangle after this pattern as well, just sew the not so nice side to the back and that will work. Now, as you see, I go on here. I didn't make a chain or anything, but just go on the side of the back, because we will now make single crochet along all sides to straighten them. So there's not a rule which loops you have to use here. Just poke below the loops that you can reach. So as I said, I didn't make an additional chain or doubled the stitches at the corner, but just went on with my stitches. So on this side, I think it's obvious where you have to poke in, and on the other side I would recommend to use these top loops here and then these little lower loops, then the top loop again, lower loop again, top loop, lower loop, top loop. So, and you might have noticed that I started with a 3mm hook and now have a 3.5mm hook. There's no reason for it, I just mixed up my hooks, I have to admit. But what I want to show you actually is, if you struggle to poke in below those loops, just go down the hook size, use a smaller hook, and then it's much easier. If you do that, you have to be aware to work with a loose tension. On this side, but you can see how easily I get below these loops. So, and as well on this side, I didn't add a chain stitch, I didn't double the stitches on these edges here. I just went on with my stitches. So, and this is how the top looks like. Now I finished this row. This is here the last row single crochet of the pattern. Here we started at this lower side. This is the side where I showed you the smaller hook. And we will now end the top of our bag. So I cut this thread here, pull it through now, cut a long piece to be able to weave it in properly. Then again, I poke in below the next loop, pull the thread through there, then poke in the current stitch, like this. Bring the thread back through its middle, and you again have a nice ending here that blends in with the rest of the stitches. And as I said, one side of my rectangle, as you can see here, wasn't quite perfect, and this side will be the one that I sew on the back side of the bag, so it's not that visible. And the nice side, the right side here, will be my front. So just sew it on like this. This is the side that I will sew on. Then for this handle here, I just made a very long chain and repeated the pattern of the top. My chain consisted of 89 chain stitches. So I had 88 single crochet, made 2 rows of single crochet, and then 1 pattern row. Afterwards, you just fix the lock here with little screws. The lower part you just bend around the spikes, and on the sides, when I sew on the handle, I squeezed on the D-rings first so that they are fixed as well. And that's it. And yes, this is the leftover of one skein of yarn. So this was the tutorial for this beautiful bag. If you liked the tutorial, please give me a thumbs up and follow my channel.